Hello and welcome to this episode where I'm going to be talking you through the 10 lessons from 10 years in business. Wow, I can't believe I've been in business for 10 years. So just as a little really quick roundup story of my journey in business, I know I've shared it a lot if you've listened to previous episodes, but if you're new here, you might not know, so I'm going to share. So I first dabbled in business when I was 21 years old. I started running a Keepsakes business when I was at home on maternity leave because I previously worked 2 jobs. Stephen was a really easy baby. I was bored out of my mind while my husband was at work. So I started sewing things and decided... Actually, it started before that. I was creating an online community of parents using Facebook, and it took off really, really well within the space of a couple of months. Sorry, I'm just going to have to adjust my earphones, so they might be a bit annoyed. It's just really uncomfortable. It's really warm in here, which makes it worse. So, back to the story. So, backtrack. 11 years ago, I went on maternity leave with my oldest child, was bored out of my mind, and I actually started building a community for mums first. It was called Parents Aloud. You can probably still find the Facebook page, to be honest. And we ended up with like 8,000 followers. We ended up creating a Facebook group. I had a whole admin team working for me for free. This is just insane. I can't believe I did this. And we had businesses sponsoring us as well. So they were giving prizes and we were featuring their business and promoting them because we had a big following and it was very engaged. And that was my first little dip into marketing. Like, I just sat at home and just created this community. I was very new to social media because I'd never really used it as a teenager because it wasn't a thing when I was growing up. Well, we did have Bebo, if anyone remembers that, or MySpace, but I didn't really use them because I was very young when they were about. So that's what happened, and it did really, really well. I was very bored though, so I started making things, and I naturally just shared it on this Facebook page and on my Facebook profile. And I really had a knack for using Facebook, to be fair. And I really connected with all these mums and they loved the things that I were making. And someone said to me, oh, you should sell them. And so I did. So I started a Keepsakes business in the end. Was toys at first, transitioned into Keepsakes. Did launched through the Prince's Trust, got a business qualification. I put everything I knew into it. And I then had a successful Keepsakes business. When that was 6 years in, I'd not been making any money. I'd make sales, but not enough. Nowhere near enough. And all of a sudden, I just realised that I wanted to do this. I wanted to do it. So I started investing in like some small courses. I started networking and it worked. It worked during the pandemic as well, which was challenging. But it worked and it took off and I did really, really well. And I was juggling this at that point around 3 kids and a part-time job. And I then decided to start running networking events for Mums in Business Networking. If you've heard the previous episode, which was all about networking and building relationships, then you will know a little bit about this story and what happened there. But basically, when I was running networking events, I was sharing loads of tips and someone said to me, oh, you should teach business. I was like, what? But I listened and I started doing it, which transitioned me into becoming a business coach and mentor. At first I was teaching creative business owners, and then I transitioned into service-based businesses because I just fell in love with it, to be honest. I am a very creative person and I would still love to help product-based businesses, but I fell in love with service. I realised that services were a lot easier to scale in terms of exchanging time for money, less overwhelming. I actually ended up closing down my Keepsakes business, and so it was just a natural transition for me. And I love it and I love what I do. I ended up closing the Keepsakes business down. The parents' Facebook group just ended up dwindling away somehow. There was a lot of drama there and I just was not here for the drama, so I ended up just leaving. I was like, whatever. And that all went. And then, so closed the Keepsakes business down, and I actually left running the networking events for Mums in Business, and then I was left with just this business for 2 years. But of course, I get a little bored. My ADHD brain goes, no, we're not going to do that. But actually, so I've launched just this week, at the time of recording this episode, which will have been last week when this is released, I've launched a social success circle, which is a networking and events business. However, this has been on the cards for 2 years. It's not something I've just done on a whim. It's actually been something I wanted to do 2 years ago. When I left the original networking company I was with, Mums in Business, because I was really good at it. So here I am doing this. So in all of that, I wanted to share 10 things that I have learned from the 10 years in business. So in May this year, it will be 10 years since I started my Keepsakes business. Now, I'm not going to lie, in this time, in the 10 years, I have only made profit in the last 4 years. It took me that long to get things going. And even in the last 4 years, like, I am so about honesty and authenticity, and I don't want to create this, like, I want to be transparent. I don't want to make out like I'm a millionaire, because I'm bloody not, right? However, I am in the best financial place I've ever been. I love it. I'm grateful for it. But in the last 4 years where my business has been making more money and has been turning off a profit, it's only the last 2 years where I've actually been in a better position, because previous to that 2 years ago, I was in debt. Even though I was making money, I was in debt. And it was just very challenging, like, navigating the benefit system and the challenging circumstances that my family faced, and my own mindset with money and management of money and ADHD and all that stuff was very, very hard. But I'm glad I've come out the other side. Anyway, so in the last 2 years, it's been the most profitable, what I consider the most successful, and that is due to my money mindset. So there's a lot to say about that. So in those 10 years, the last 2 I only really consider a success. However, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not going to pretend I am. I just am. I'm getting by, but I'm getting by with some luxuries, shall I say. But I'm not going to go into those luxuries now, because I don't want to just sit here and brag. I want to actually give you a business lesson. So 10 lessons from 10 years in business. Let's go. The first one, and it starts with it goes without saying, I mentioned this in my book, Business Fundamentals, right? The first chapter is all about clarity. Is it? Or is that the second chapter? I can't even believe I don't know. But one of the first 2 chapters is about clarity, because without clarity, you don't have anything. And I wish I'd have recognised this sooner, because it's so true. Clarity is everything. So that's my first lesson for you, because if you are not clear on what your goals are, why you're doing this business in the first place and what you want to get from it, who it is that you're working with, where to go and find those people, how to actually create a strategy, how to create engagement and build a community on social media. If you're not clear about anything, you're not going to be successful. So that is my biggest lesson, because the clearer you can get about everything that you're doing, the clearer your clients are going to be, the clearer your audience is going to be. And this starts with some inner work. It really, really does. Like I've just shared about my journey with finances, it starts with the inner work. So clarity is everything. So I urge you to do some work around clarity in whatever is relevant for you right now. So whatever is showing up in your life or business right now, I want you to look at getting clear on that particular thing. So whether that is your finances, whether that is sales, strategy, marketing, whatever, get clarity on that one thing. And then move on to the next. Like, once you've mastered that, go on to the next thing, because clarity makes such a difference. So at this time in my business, I'm working on getting really clear on my messaging. So I'm about to start we start on the 31st. So at the time this episode goes out, we will be starting what I'm calling Launch with Dani. And I've done this before, but I'm doing it very different this year. And it's a 6-month program where I'm taking the ladies that have invested in that, I'm taking them on a journey to launch and sell, create, market and launch and sell a signature program. So whether this is a membership, a course, a mastermind, whatever it is, right, we're going to launch and sell it. We're going to do it together, because I'm going to be working on mine, they're going to be working on theirs. And one of the things I'm doing in the start of that is I'm working on my own clarity around my own business messaging, and I'm teaching this to them. I'm showing them the journey I'm going on, because I don't want to just speak it at you. I want to practice what I preach and show you what I'm doing as well, because there is power in learning together, and there's power in learning from someone that knows a bit about that more than you do. And so I really know the business stuff. In fact, one of my friends said to me recently that in a conversation she had with another mutual friend of ours, that she'd said that there's knowing business and there's the way Dani knows business, meaning me. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. She said, the way there's knowing business and then there's the way you know business. And I'm like, oh my God, I love that. And it's true, because I know business. And I don't feel like I always get this across. So I'm working on that in my messaging, in my conviction, in my clarity, and just communicating that effectively. Because I know business. So you want to hang out with me? You do. So clarity is really, really important, and I'm working on that. Second lesson is your community is what makes the world go round, not money. Not money, my friend. Community is what makes the world go round, because it is the people that you surround yourself with that will have the biggest impact on you. It affects your energy. It affects who you know, not what and what you know. It affects, who you get referred to, how well you get known. It affects so much. And this is why I did a whole episode last week on networking, because networking is how I've built a community, and the community that I'm in I absolutely love, because I just love being surrounded by people that get it, and I'm sure you can relate to that. So your community is what makes it. It definitely makes you as a person, and that saying that we become are like the 5 people we spend most time with is so true. So think carefully about who you spend your time with. For that reason, I spend a lot of time with people who are in business as well, and who are striving for more and working towards big goals. I like to actually surround myself with people that are at a higher level than me, because it's inspirational, it shows me what's possible, I learn a lot as well, so I like to do that. So that's a little tip for you. But yeah, your community is what makes the world go round. That's my second lesson. So make sure you're getting into rooms with the right people, and you're building a community as well, whether that's people who are striving for the similar things, similar goals as you, or a community of your ideal clients. Definitely think about that. Number 3. So this one, if you listened to my networking episode last week, you will have heard a little story about things that people have done when it comes to collaboration over competition. Yeah, people have not been very nice. But basically, I truly believe in collaboration over competition. However, people will throw you under the bus. And what I mean by that is, I think we should all lead into the message that we should collaborate and not be competition. If you're a business coach too, yep, great. Let's work together and do something together. I collaborate with my own business coach. I serve and support other coaches as well. I have actually, one of my clients is an ADHD and business coach, and I have recommended her. We're not currently working together. However, when we were or when we weren't, I've recommended her time and time and time again, because she is like a mini-me. However, she's great at the ADHD stuff. She's a qualified ADHD coach. So when I see someone looking for ADHD, an organisation, I'll say, right, I can help. However, if you're wanting someone who's ADHD qualified, then you go to her. And I recommend her all the time, even though we're not working together anymore, because I truly believe in collaboration over competition. I just don't see that competition, and I'd like to think that she would recommend. In fact, she does. She recommends me when she sees that I fit the bill for something. And this is what it's about. It's not about fighting to get the client. It's about saying, you know what, I can do this, but so can she. And I love that. So definitely, collaboration over competition. However, you can be the nicest person in the world and people will still throw you under the bus. And I find this quite hard, because I know I'm not a bad person. And if I do something, I never actually intend it to hurt someone, insult someone, upset someone. I have a massive conscience. Like, I don't like it. And I have what I like to think are really good morals even. And I have had this happen a lot, where I've been removed from Facebook groups because I'm competition. I've been blocked because people think I'm something I'm not. I've had nasty messages. Do you know, you name it, it's probably happened. I've been trolled. When my book became bestseller, the day it became bestseller, I was called a scammer. And it's just, I just don't understand why people don't just think, you know what, you've done this amazing thing, how can we work together to support more people? But no, instead they're just like, scammer, scammer, scammer. And I get it, because there is a lot of BS out there. There is a lot of people that will go and poach your clients. But that is not me. And I just wish people would know that and see that. But hey ho, if you choose to believe I'm going to do that, then that is your problem, not mine. However, that is a lesson I've learned, that I do believe in collaboration over competition, but people will still throw you under the bus and be nasty. And you know what? Just accept that that's part of the journey. Number 4, trust, belief and alignment is something to always continuously work at. And this came up for me when, not last year, the year before. They were 3 words that really resonated, and I put them on my vision board, and I've still got that vision board that I created at that time. And it just felt like I was really connected to them, and I still am. These 3 words: trust, belief and alignment. Because for me, I'm great at the strategy, I'm great at taking action, I'm great at the organisation, but one thing I really find challenging is trusting myself and trusting that everything will work out. Having the belief in myself, and a lot of us go through this, but also just remembering to do what's in alignment. And I'm getting better at that now. I do everything in alignment now. But these 3 key words really stood out for me, were my words of the year in 2023. And actually what I did was I designed a tattoo with a moon on it, with my Virgo symbol, because I'm a Virgo, and these 3 words. And those of you watching on YouTube, you might be able to just see it. I'm just going to show you. I had it tattooed on my arm for my 30th birthday, because those words really resonated with me. And this has been a lesson that I've learned, is that we have to really work at trusting ourselves. We have to master the belief in ourselves, and we have to do what aligns with ourselves, but we always have to work at it. And that is something that has really, really sat with me, because I've not always trusted everyone around me. I've not always trusted myself and believed in myself. And sometimes I did things because a business coach or mentor told me I should, or I saw an Instagram post about it and was told I should. And that is not always the right journey or path. So I just want you to kind of take that on board as well. You've got to do what feels good for you. Lesson number 5 is how you think and feel impacts the work that you do, and then that will impact the results that you get. So I actually put this, or another version of this quote, into my Queen of Business Organisation planner, because once I realised it, massive shifts happened. So basically what this means is the thoughts that you have and the feelings that you have creates an energy, right? That energy will then infect the work that you do. So imagine you're selling something. How you feel about it and what you're thinking about that is then going to have an impact on the sales post that you write, the sales page that you create. And then that will impact the results that you get from that work. So what that means is, in an actual situation, it means that if you feel shit about money, you feel desperate for sales and you want to sign more clients, so you knock up a social media post in 5 minutes because you're desperate for money and you just need to get this thing out there. You create this sales page, you whip it up, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but you just put it together like that, right? You just whack it out there. Then it's not going to be in alignment with what your true message is, and it's going to have that negative energy behind it, and that will impact the results. Whereas if you feel like that, you work on your energy first, and just remember why you're doing it, why you want to sell this thing, who you're selling it to, really connect with that. It's going to change the way you feel about it. So then when you do write the sales post, and instead of whacking it together in 5 minutes, you really spend some time having a thought process, thinking about how you want to deliver this and what the plan should be, and then you create a sales page that covers all that you need to say, and then you put that out there. That's going to get way better results than the other option I just talked about. So this is massively something that impacts a lot of people in their business, and they don't do enough work on it. So I'm just going to read that out again. So how you think and feel impacts the work that you do, and then that work that you do will impact the results that you get. So if anything you take away, I mean, all these are really good points, but definitely think about that going forward with your business. Okay, this episode, I'm really bad at keeping these episodes at 20 minutes. I really am. I've just got a lot to share and a lot of stories to tell. So I am going to keep going with my next 5 tips. So tip number 6 is the top guru strategies aren't always right to follow. So this kind of ties in a little bit with alignment, but they're not always right to follow. And it really gets me angry and it really annoys me. And I hate talking about it because I feel like some people are going to be offended. But I am just going to state the obvious to me and what is true. And that is, they don't work for everyone, right? The problem with this is that you'll have a coach that says, do this thing. So then they might teach another coach who also says, do this thing. And they might teach another coach. And then what's happening is you've kind of got a pyramid scheme of coaches teaching coaches who are telling everybody all this same generic information or telling people what to do. But all these people that are doing it actually aren't aligned with it and they get burnt out very quickly. And I have an example of this. And what happens is you have business owners that actually are not getting the results they want because they're just listening to someone else and what someone else has told them to do. And I bet you're thinking, but Dani, isn't that what business coaching and mentoring is about? No, it's not, right? As a mentor, yeah, I'm going to tell you what I think you should do. But as a coach, I want you to discover that within yourself, what's right for you to do. So I like to merge both together. I'm also kind of a consultant as well, and I'll create a plan with you. I really, really merge what I do. However, I truly believe in giving you the knowledge to do what you need to do, but finding a way to do it in a way that works for you. Because the way I've built my business is not always going to work for you. One example of this is there are coaches out there that when you ask them, how many times a day should I post on social media, will tell you to post 3 times a day. I've seen this not from just one coach, but many coaches. Which is all well and good if you're confident at creating content, you got quick at creating content, and you have the time to create the content. However, if you have massive responsibilities, such as you're a parent, you still have an employed job, you work long hours, I don't know, whatever that situation is, you're not going to have a lot of time to actually do that. So it's very unrealistic. And then you're going to feel like you're failing when you're not meeting that expectation of yourself. And then you're going to feel burnt out, like you're always chasing your tail. And if you ever feel like this, I want you to actually look at the actions that you're taking and how you can simplify it. I always do this when I'm auditing my business. How can I simplify and make this easier? Or how can you automate it? So don't be afraid to use tech or strategies that mean you can schedule and automate things. I've even heard the shocking advice that you shouldn't be scheduling. What? I would not survive if I didn't schedule content. Sometimes I don't, but sometimes I do. Because when I'm having busy weeks, I want to be selling. I want to be selling a thing and talking about what I'm doing. But I might be off at business events. I might be busy, right? So I still want to get it out there whilst I'm still busy. The only way to do that, because I'm going to forget, because I've got a memory like a sieve, is to schedule. So the top guru strategies aren't always right to follow. Take them with a pinch of salt. They're probably right. I'm not going to say they're not, because they are. A great way, using the example of posting 3 times a day on social media, it is a great way to grow, especially in the beginning when you want to be, if you want to grow really fast, the more content you put out there, the more likely people are going to discover you, because we need lots of touch points. However, you want quality content over quality, and it's not realistic for everybody. Plus, you only really need to do that in the beginning, because as you grow, you can post less. And you can still have the same impact because you work on the quality, which is where I'm at right now. And it's taken me 10 freaking years. So I want you to just bear that in mind. The strategies from the top gurus are not always the right to follow. Lesson number 7 is consistency is the real key to success. So if you're ever looking for what is it I'm missing, why is it not working, what's the secret sauce, this is the secret sauce. Consistency. Consistency is a real key to success. There is no secret sauce. There's nothing that's going to save you. There's only you. that can save you and make your business succeed. And it is literally consistency, because I guarantee that everybody listening to this episode, yes, I'm calling you out, have probably been inconsistent with at least one thing in your business. You're not alone. Me too. Right? Let me pick something. What am I inconsistent with? Oh my God, this is really bad and it's embarrassing, but I'm going to be honest because I'm working on it. I have been inconsistent with my audience building and relationship building. And guess who just launched a networking business? I did. I've been great at networking, but I've not been great at doing anything with them. But I'm working on it, right? Recognising that and actioning and doing something about it is what makes a difference. But that's what I've been inconsistent with recently. But I notice a lot of people are inconsistent with the social media content. They start an email list and then do nothing with it. They learn stuff and then don't implement it. And consistency and implementation is so important, and that's the real key to success. You can have all the business knowledge in the world, and there's always going to be more to learn, but you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't do anything with it, then it's not going to lead anywhere. But also, consistency doesn't mean being constant. Consistency is about finding a way that works for you. So posting as many times on social media as works for you. What does consistency need to look like for you? I actually have a client at the minute who is really busy. She's fully booked to a one-to-one. So we're working together on bringing in other income streams so that she's not just working on a one-to-one basis. And we're working on that. However, one of her challenges is, because she's so busy, it's fitting in the consistency with social media content. So we're working on that. And one of the things I said to her is, okay, realistically right now, I'm not going to be asking you to post every single day, because that is just too much when you're just starting to work on this. So instead, I've asked her to just do 3 posts a week. She's actually averaging about a bit more than that, because when you feel inspired, you can post, and that's great. But she is strategically doing 3 posts a week, right? And just being consistent with that and knowing that's what you need to do is the important thing if you know it's going to work for you right now. So I want you to take the pressure off yourself and just recognise what you can commit to and what is consistency going to look like for you, because that is what you need to implement, and that's going to be the key to your business success. Lesson number 8. Being affordable creates misalignment. I love sharing my thoughts and opinions here. I do, because I am so business minded. Honestly, was it in this episode? I've already forgot what I've been talking about. Was it in this one that I said, my friend said about me, what I don't know about business? Like, there's knowing business and there's no knowing the way I know business, right? Well, this is the thing. I know business. I have learned over the last 10 years by watching people. I'm really good at analysing. I'm really good at problem solving. But from watching people, from working with all the clients that I have, from building like 3 frigging businesses myself, for dipping my toe into other things and projects, from connecting with so many people, from doing so many trainings, courses, qualifications, all the things, right? And I'm so business minded, and it really infuriates me when people, no offence if this is you, but when people say, I just want to be affordable. Affordability does not pay the bills. We need to be profiting. And I used to be this person, so no shade on that, right? I used to be this person. However, what also infuriates me is when there is other people out there teaching that, I can't charge more than this, you can't do it. Because being affordability creates misalignment, right? And the reason is because if you focus on being affordable for your ideal clients, then unfortunately you're going to bring in people that are not, they're going to be ideal clients, but they're not going to be dreamy clients. This is the difference. Because dreamy clients are the people who pay on time, show up to the calls, do what you ask them and implement the work. Whereas if currency is commitment, right? What you pay is what you commit to. And I'm going to prove this in just a second, but keep with me, right? So if it's way too affordable, too easy to access, sometimes people devalue the service. And so they don't stick to paying. They don't show up. They don't value it. So this is where it can create misalignment, because you can actually bring in clients that are actually not dream clients. And you want to work with clients every day. And this is a sign if you're misaligned and your pricing is off point, is if you wake up every day and you go into work with clients that make you feel, I don't want to work with her today. I don't feel like that about any of my current clients. I used to in the past. I have had this in the past where they've drained my energy, but I've learned. Actually, I upped my prices, and that made a massive difference, because currency is commitment. The people who will do the work will invest. They'll show up, not just money, but time. So don't focus on just being affordable. Focus on profiting, because the more money you make, the more people you can help realistically. And focus on working with those dream clients. So that is a massive, massive lesson I've learned. Being affordable creates misalignment. So I said I was going to share an example. What was my example? It was literally just that. Have you ever paid for something? Oh, I've got an example. So I once paid for a networking event that was £10. I mean, this is ironic because my networking events in person are £12. However, it's a thing. If I pay £10 for a networking event and I feel like a bit shit, yeah, I'll just not go. But if I've paid £100 for a business event and I feel a bit shit, I will do everything I possibly humanly can to make sure I'm going to that event, because I've spent £100 on it. So yeah, that is what it is. That's literally that in action. So if you've ever done the same thing, you've spent a low amount on something, a training, a course, a masterclass, you've not actually done it and it's still sat somewhere, this is why. Because the price of it was not enough for you to be motivated to actually physically invest your time in it. That's my example. Okay, we've got 2 more lessons to go. And this podcast would run way over, but hey ho, I hope you're loving this one. Please let me know your thoughts. Please tell me what you think about each episode. I'd love to hear, and tell me what you want to hear in future as well. Okay, I've got 2 more lessons for you. So lesson number 9 is that not all successful people have actual business sense. I mean, this has come through a little bit in what I've been saying, but it's true. I see a lot of people. This infuriates me as well. I'm really sharing my thoughts. I'm really letting you inside my head today. But basically, there are a lot of people that are succeeding in business, which is great for them. I'm happy for them. But they don't have actual business sense. And why this annoys me is because this has turned into like a complaining episode. I am sorry. I don't want to be negative. I don't. But it is a real thing. Okay, so why it annoys me is because they're then projecting that onto other people. So for example, not everybody loves a spreadsheet. I do. Not everybody loves being organised. I do. However, if you're going out and telling everybody that they don't need to be organised to run a successful business, then you're not helping them, to be honest, because I know more than anyone, because I never used to be organised, I know more than anyone that we are not naturally strategic and organised and put systems in place. And so it's a learned skill. It has been a learned skill for me. And I see this in business all the time. I see business owners who don't even look at their insights. Like, how can you not? Because this is actual data that's going to tell you about your business. And so they don't look at it, and they might discourage their clients from doing it. And other business coaches in particular, it really does annoy me. But also when it comes to pricing, so like I was sharing about affordability, or coaches telling you to do this one thing and that's going to lead them to success. That is what frustrates me, because actual business sense is, 1, getting to know the client you're speaking to and being able to give them personalised, tailored advice, not just generic advice. And recognising that it serves them. So when it doesn't serve them, like the example I shared where you're working and you have to schedule your post, I have actually been told about someone being told not to schedule their posts and just to do them intuitively. I get why, I get it, but if that person physically is working 12-hour shifts, they forget to post and they're going to beat themselves up about it, that's not serving them. So does it not make business sense for them to schedule the post when they do have the time? Yes. So this is what I find infuriating. It's just, there is successful people out there that are doing amazing, but they don't actually have business sense. And one of my previous coaches did say to me, they said, Dani, there are coaches out there that are charging twice as much as you are, but they're delivering half the value. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh. And I hate that. Nothing against them, because if people are paying them money and they're getting that value that they're getting, that's fine. But it just frustrates me when I literally generally want to give people everything and everything, because I'm such a people pleaser and I love what I do and I want to see other businesses be successful, but it does annoy me a bit when people just don't have actual business sense. So yeah. Lesson number 10, the final one. It's a quote, and I really, really believe in this, and of course I do because I'm the queen of business organisation, and that is that failure to plan is planning to fail. So if you just don't plan to, your launch, you don't plan your next offer like thoughtfully, you don't plan for what you're going to spend your business money on, like your business budget and your marketing, you don't plan your content, you don't plan anything, you're just winging everything, then I'm sorry to say that failure to plan is planning to fail. And I know that there are a lot of people that might be successful who have winged it all this time. However, winging it only works for so long, and this is what I truly believe. I have seen business owners who have winged it and been really, really successful. However, what happens with that success, if there's no organisation, there's no plan in place for any obstacles, then when something goes wrong, everything goes wrong. I've seen it in a very well-known big brand that built last year. I think it was last year. She had an amazing business. She claimed to hit 6 figures. But what happened was she was so disorganised. She never planned anything. So she'd sell something. She was really good at selling, really good at marketing, but then never follow through and delivered. So what happened, because she didn't have a plan to deliver, is she had refund requests, she had negative reviews and testimonials, people in her community complaining. It was horrendous to see and heartbreaking, because I knew the direction her business was going in, but yet I sat there and I actually reached out to her and said, like, if you want a little help with a bit of organisation, because I know that I can see that's what you need, then let's have a chat. Not to like sell to her, but just to help. And sadly, she did nothing about it, and that business now has been dissolved. It was struck off and it's been dissolved, and it's so sad to see, because that was an amazing business. She was doing amazing. She's really good at sales. She's really good at teaching people sales. However, failure to plan is planning to fail. And that's my final thought on that. So those are my 10 lessons from 10 years in business. I'm just going to recap all of 10 for you, just so in case you want to write them down or you've forgotten them. But number 1, climate is everything. Number 2, your community is what makes the world go round. Number 3, collaboration over competition, but people will throw you under the bus. Number 4, trust, belief and alignment are something to work at. Number 5, how you think and feel impacts the work that you do, and that impacts the results that you get. Number 6, the top guru strategies aren't always right to follow. Number 7, consistency is the real key to success. Number 8, being affordable creates misalignment. Number 9, not all successful people have actual business sense. And number 10, failure to plan is planning to fail. And a little disclaimer just to end this podcast: if you were in any way offended, I promise you I am actually a nice person. I'm just letting you inside my brain today and letting you know what I know to be true, my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions in the 10 years of experience that I've had in business. So please do not shoot me, do not come after me, because this stuff does make me actually feel uncomfortable, but I feel it's so important that I start sharing it, because people need to see the light at the end of the tunnel. They need to be able to succeed in their business in a way that works for them. So if you stuck with me throughout this episode, listen to a bit of my moaning, hats off to you. I'd love to know your opinions and your thoughts. Get into my inbox, let me hear it. I'd love, don't come like shooting me down and having a go at me. I'm not here for the drama, but I'd love to know if you agree with anything, or if you're up for a nice healthy debate and you disagree with anything. Let me know as well, because I might actually invite you onto the podcast to have a healthy debate and discussion here on an episode. I'd love to do that as well. So yeah, pop me a message and let me know your thoughts and where you're at with it, and I will see you again soon.